Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new disc golf video. Today we're going to be doing another disc comparison between the Judge from Dynamic Discs and the Pa3 from Prodigy. These are some of the most popular putters in disc golf. They have a lot of similarities, but there are some slight differences you should know. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the first difference is the profile difference actually. The Pa3 tends to be a bit flatter than your Judge would be. The Pa3 even has some concave in it, depends on what model you get. But the Pa3 is very board flat. The Judge is flat as well. They both have a bead that are similar in size and shape. The Judge tends to round a little bit more severely than the Pa3, but overall they're very similar. The flight numbers are pretty much the same as well, with a turn of 0 and a fade of 1. They're very straight throwing putters, and when you putt inside the circle with these, they're very similar as well. Most putters inside the circle will fly fairly straight. These are with the bead, and they have similar feels in the hand, so we're going to test them for throwing today. We're going to be seeing how they react on different angles, and let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, we're going to get to throwing these discs. I'm going to start out with throwing them on a smooth, controlled hyzer, and then I'll be throwing it with probably like 70% power on hyzer flat and anhyzer, and then we'll actually switch to some scramble scenarios and see how they react. So we'll go ahead and start out with the hyzer. Alright, here we go with the Judge. Pa3. One thing to note, and it's very slight, but the Pa3 has a little bit more shallow feel in the hand. It's very hard to tell, but I can feel when I compare these two discs, the Judge feels a tad fuller in my hand, but obviously that's going to change from person to person. But it's just one thing to note how they round slightly in a different way, so it provides a very subtle different feel in the hand. Alright guys, we're going to release these flat. Pa3. Wow, that was really similar. All right, guys, now into anhyzer. We're going to see if these can hold it the entire way. We'll start off with the Judge. All right. That was actually a really good throw. It held the whole way and it didn't cut roll at all. It landed on a good angle. Try the Pa3 here. Release that a bit flatter. Yeah, I released that one pretty flat. But if I gave it a bit more anhyzer, it would have a similar flight to the Judge, holding most of the way, finishing flat. Alright guys, now we're going to compare these in a very useful way. Since these are both putters, they're slower discs, you're going to use them closer to the basket for your approach shots. And if you're playing in the woods, or if you live somewhere like Tennessee where I live, you got a lot of wooded courses, so you're going to need it to scramble backhand and forehand. I want a disc that I can use both different ways. So I've got a little split tree set up. We're going to see how these scramble on some forehands. We'll do some unique lines to see how they can do on those, and we'll see how they compare. All right, so my goal of this drill is going to be split those two trees on a little forehand, have it land somewhere in the open. I will say for the forehand, the Pa3 feels a little bit better since it's more flat and not as kind of rounded on the end like the Judge, but we'll go ahead and do it. Alright guys, so this actually worked really well, getting through this gap and kind of penetrating straight. So I'm going to do a couple more of these scramble scenarios and we'll see how they go. Alright guys, here we have another really tight gap that I'm going to try to poke through flat or on antis where they kind of coast towards the more open areas. So we'll see how they perform on this one. Oh my gosh, guys. I was trying to get it to that tree and I just hit it. That was crazy. Alright guys, the Pa3 came out early, but theoretically, if I'm trying to get to the open, that's not a bad shot because it gives me a wide open look at the tree. So overall, I'm really happy with that, and these discs are really good for scrambling backhand and forehand. Obviously, it comes down to your personal skill level of hitting the gaps, but what it comes down to is, can a putter, can you trust it in all scenarios? Because if you're trying to find a good throwing putter like the Pa3 and like the Judge, you're going to want to make sure you can use it in all scenarios. And that's why I'm comparing these two, because there are differences. They're not the same. They're not just the same disc made by different companies. The Pa3 is shallower, it's flatter, it's got a different feel in the hand. It feels a little bit better for the forehand. The Judge, it's got a bit more glide, and you can manipulate it to do a ton of different things on the backhand. And so a lot of these discs, like the Pa3, like the Judge, like the Luna, the AVR, you can use for way more scenarios than just putting. All right guys, that wraps it up for the Pa3 versus Judge comparison video. If you guys enjoyed it, if it was helpful for you, make sure you do subscribe, leave a like, comment down below what is your favorite putter to use, either for putting or for throwing or whatever you would use it for. Personally, I think both of these would be great options for someone looking for a beaded, point and shoot, throwing and putting putter. Both of these are fantastic from different companies. If you guys want to see me compare other discs, let me know in the comment section down below. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.